People, deluded. If you're not going to take anything away from my videos, people, make sure you download the OneFootball app. It's a terrific application developed by the guys over at the OneFootball network. Make sure you visit my description for more of that. If you don't want to do that, go on the OneFootball network website. It's a terrific application, people. I can't just say that enough, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. Why I like it? It allows me to stay on top of every bit of information there is in regards to football. It doesn't matter if it's transfer speculation, results, fixtures, manager talking points, player talking points. They have everything covered, and the sheer velocity and in-depth of some of the content, you can't put a price on it, people. The one big feature I like out of everything, when it comes to transfers, they've got it on top. They tell you exactly where the rumour or the information was first brought out, more or less. And it tells you how the strength of the rumour. And it also tells you what that could mean for the team moving forward with fellow supporting articles. It is the #1 application for the general football fan. And in fact, not even the general football fan, the honest football fan. The fan that really loves football. If you really love football, you'll download the OneFootball app, people. Because for me, it is the best on the market. Like I said, link is in the description. Visit their website. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. People, I don't want you lot to do yourself a disservice, and you lot are the real followers because you follow me. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. People, deluded. I'm out. People, deluded. Good morning. I hope you're all doing well this Friday. Now, Manchester United versus Arsenal, we might as well speak about it. We play on Monday. I believe at this moment in time, Arsenal are 4th, Manchester United are 7th, they could be 8th. It's concerning that they're there, obviously, but there's not, at this point in the season, you just have to make it to the festive period. Also, we need to remember, because our two teams, United and Arsenal, play later, in terms of on the Monday night, there's going to be a lot of fluctuation in the league table, so positions aren't really of standing. But the games are coming thick and fast, not just in the Premier League, in all competitions now. We've got United on Monday. Forgive me if I'm wrong. We've got Standard Liège from an Arsenal perspective on the Thursday. And we're playing again on the Sunday or Saturday. Well, it has to be the Sunday. They won't make us play on Saturday. I could even be wrong about that. Manchester United, I assume they have a similar schedule. They play the day after us in their last game. So both teams have had significant rest, in my opinion. But you've also got to think about the fine margins. Now, it's a weird game. I feel both sets of fans will probably be nervous and confident at the same time. From a United perspective, all you got to do is look at Gary Neville's comments. And if I'm an Arsenal player, I'm looking at them and I'm trying to prove him wrong. Because he's more or less saying, I don't have them to hand, but in other words, he's saying it's Arsenal essentially. They're always confident, you get it? And I'm sure United fans, they have every reason to be confident at Old Trafford. We haven't won there since 2006, people. I left school in secondary school, primary school, I'm not that old. I left primary school in 2006, so I've gone through my whole life, gone through puberty and things like that. I might even get a beard by the time that we win at Old Trafford, people. Hopefully this hoodoo ends on Sunday, and that should Monday, sorry. And that should be enough motivation for these players to end that unbeaten run, to kind of shut the likes of Gary Neville up. Obviously, our away form, United are at home, but United's away form is quite poor as well. But Arsenal's away form is quite poor. Now, whether we win, lose or draw against United, it's not going to make or break our away form because we already know what it is. But it will be a good way in terms of proving away form credentials. The players have to go one better than last season. Last season, I felt Emre set us up at Old Trafford perfect. I feel Torreira was perfect. But individual mistakes, similar to a lot of games, led to our demise ultimately. So like I said, if you're a United fan, you should be scared and confident. Not confident because of how they've been playing. I mean, they've been having a couple of defeats in the league. And even if it's against in the Europa League or in the Cat Yarabel Cup, both of them games was a kind of a slugfest and they made it harder work than it needed to be, sort of thing. And obviously United, they've got injuries. I think Pogba's back, but Rashford probably misses out. They've got injuries and several things like that. But they've beaten Arsenal with worse sides. And like I said, we don't travel well to Old Trafford. It's a massive pitch. These players need to be prepared to put in a shift on that pitch. Old Trafford is a massive pitch. From an Arsenal perspective, yeah, we should be confident. You should be seeing Southampton draw against Man United. Palace beat Man United. I'm sure they drew against Wolves as well. And obviously, just their form, even when they have won, it has been a slugfest, even if you look at the Cat Yarabel and the Europa League. So this should give Arsenal confidence, especially when you've got players like Aubameyang that could score goals. But again, it's Old Trafford. But again, home and away, I've seen United, since Ferguson's left, put out some rubbish sides and get something off us. We haven't won there in the league since 2006. That is a ridiculous record, really and truly, people, considering it's not been United for a while. Now, that's testament to United, but that's a pour on us. Obviously, to a degree, form goes out of the window for both sides, because you'd probably say Arsenal are in better shape slightly than Manchester United, but it goes out of the window. Man United. If any coaching staff, player, or anyone connected with that club, same goes for Arsenal, needs to be G'd up for this sort of game, then you shouldn't be a part of the squad or part of the collective objectives, because you should be up for this game. I personally feel there's goals in this game. I personally feel Arsenal, to have any chance, we have to go there and kind of score early and try and shut up the fans, and then it's down to Man United to give their fans something to get behind. There's a lot of things to worry about, people. Obviously, we might as well get onto the tactical sort of things, really and truly. But before that, I'm sure I saw a stat about penalties, people. I've got it somewhere. Give me a second. I've got so many papers. Yeah, only 4 teams have won more penalties at home against a single opponent in the Premier League, other than Manchester United's 8 versus Arsenal at Old Trafford. This season, Manchester United have won the most penalties, 4. Arsenal have conceded the most, 3. Now, obviously, with VAR, with individual mistakes and just questionable stuff from people like Luiz, we need to fix up. These are the things we've got to think about. If you look at the goals scored and goals conceded by either team, people, the highest that Arsenal score their goals, and this is done on a 10-minute basis, 18% of our goals come in the 51st to the 60th minute, and 18% if I didn't say, and 27% come in the 81st and the 90th minute. If we look at Man United, when they score goals, 25% come in the last 9 minutes of the game. So we need to remain rigid and be switched on. Obviously, we conceded 18% of goals from the 51st to 60th minute. From the 61st to the 70th minute, they've scored 25 goals. So again, against that period, during that sort of period, we've got to fix up, people. In terms of when we've conceded, Arsenal have conceded goals, we seem to be kind of dodgy when it comes to the 41st to the 50th minute, coming at 30%, and 50. And obviously we've also conceded goals. 30% of our goals have also come in the 51st to the 60th. So we might as well, again, my maths is poor, but adding them together, 60% of our goals conceded come from the 41st minute to the 60th. So that shows you we have a problem managing games beyond half time, to half time, and that 10 minutes or that initial 10-15 minutes after half time, that comes down to game management. In case I've butchered the stats, I'm gonna try and edit them in, so you should be seeing them now, people, trying to improve and whatnot. So there are going to be goals in this game, people. Either side have poor defences, really and truly. I know Man United have made some additions, top signings in Maguire and Bissaka, but are they playing there to their potential? Arsenal, you know the question marks that regard our centre-halves and our defenders. I'd say United and Arsenal are in different situations and could be say they're playing poorly for different reasons, but there's a lot of similarities. Lack of identity, poor away form, making home games harder than they need to be, difficulty really seeing what either manager is trying to implement in terms of how they want the team to go beyond what they're saying in press conferences. Now, people are calling this the El Sacico or something like that, where both managers face a lot of pressure of potentially getting sacked, and a lot of that is true. I feel that I won't say there's more pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but just as an Arsenal fan, I think if either manager was to lose this game, I think Emery would still be in the job. I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would, but I assume there'll be more question marks than at Arsenal versus him to get it. But there is pressure. If both managers lose this, then there is real question marks beyond them already, because yeah, Arsenal won against Aston Villa. We made it much tougher work than it needed to be, really and truly, people, and whatnot. So we know what we need to do. Both teams, it would be a big boost of confidence to either sets of fans or fan bases and players if they can get one over their opponents. Now, if we look at the tactical point of view for a minute, people, hopefully I've got it in shot. Ignore my poor handwriting. We're the away team, so we've gone with blue, but I want to focus on Manchester United. Like I said, form goes out of the window, and there's 3 players I would go with. The first is Jesse Lingard. Again, maybe not necessarily in a 10, but Jesse Lingard. Why? Because his movement. Arsenal you'll see where I'm going with the term unpredictability, so stay with me with that and keep that in your mind. But Arsenal have a problem dealing with unpredictability. Man United's form has been shaky to say the least since they've started this season. But the one game, and Chelsea looked poor defensively and they could have scored, but against Chelsea, devastating on the counter-attack. That's one thing you've got to give Man United. They can put together some madness. We know Rashford's out, and to a degree, quick word on Rashford, they won't have a focal point really, because Martial don't really like playing with his back to goal. Rashford's not there. They can go with Greenwood, who I'm going to get on. But if there's no focal point, I want to see our fullbacks go, people. Remember, United's a big pitch, so we have to be smart, but I want to see our fullbacks go. Oh gosh, wrong player. Apologies. But I will go with Lingard, because Lingard's got very intelligent movement. If you saw last year when he scored his 2 goals, we failed to pick up the midfield runner. He starts from his own half more time, so they need that. I'd go with Martial on the left. Obviously, he can cut in. And I'd go with Mason Greenwood up front. Why? Because he's the least open book. He's a young man. He's either going to play amazing or play poorly, because he's at that stage in his career. But Arsenal have a problem with unpredictability. And people know who Greenwood is. But in terms of Rashford, he's not fit. But Rashford, you can throw in Martial and any other options. We know what we're kind of we know what to expect with them. With Greenwood, we don't really. We know he does. I wouldn't say he necessarily likes playing with his back to goal. He likes to come in. But that whole unpredictability, Arsenal have an issue with unpredictability. We have concerns over our defence, specifically the 2 centre-half pairings. So go and ask them questions if I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Go and ask Arsenal questions. Go and get the fans on their back. Go and get our fans buzzing. Do you get it? So I'll go with Greenwood, I'll go with Lingard, I'll go with, sorry, this is Daniel James, I'll go with Martial. Again, he might prefer to play on the left, but I'll go with Daniel James as well. Now, Daniel James, obviously, when we signed Pepe and other teams did what they wanted and United weren't signing players, it was a good banter thing saying, you signed a man called Daniel James, Joe Bloggs. But you have to give him credit. Maybe because of the lack of expectations that has allowed him to adapt to life at Man United. But I feel he's I'm not saying sign of the season, but he's up there. 15 million. He gets what United's about. He is consistent. He works hard. He's obviously chipped in front of goal. And he's probably arguably chipped in front of goal for Man United more than players that you'd expect to be more prolific. I haven't got the stats to hand, but I saw United are averaging less than a goal a game. I'm an Arsenal fan, I love to hear that. But Man United, when I think of Man United, beyond Alex Ferguson and a big club, I think of style of play, I think bravery, I think scoring goals. United arguably are the furthest thing away from that Man United. So I'd go with Daniel James, and I feel Daniel James, he obviously likes to cut in and have shots, but he's a winning runner, and he'll obviously support Ashley Young or Shaw, whoever they go with defensively, and it's a game for that. And also, because Arsenal, again, I don't know if Maitland-Niles is back from his ban, but there's also Bellerin. Is he gonna get significant minutes in a game like this on a massive pitch like United when he's not fully fit? That's a question for Emre to answer. Will he get the game time? I don't know. But you'd be inclined to believe on current form, Chambers, deservedly so, deserves to get into the team. Now, Chambers at times has issues at right back, and he obviously will get forward, but he's not Maitland-Niles or Bellerin. So what you're hoping is that, obviously, Kieran Tierney has to time these runs if he plays, and it be it for me. If he goes forward, he kind of sits in, and we've kind of got man like that. And obviously, if we've got our midfielders sitting in as well, people bringing in the other members of the team now. If we've got other members of the team sitting in, and he's there, and our midfield are screening, in theory, we should have enough. We should have enough man, people, to get it. I'm just bringing in the team, obviously. But if I'm Man United, people, I'm trying to create 2v1 situations on Chambers, because Chambers is not a right back by trade. He is mobile, but he's not a full back by trade. He don't want to be defending in these areas. Do you get it? Get your fullback. If that's Young, similar, I think Young on the counter, that could give up. We'll get on to Arsenal, but Young, he comes quite narrow. But I'm telling Young or whoever to make 2v1s against Chambers. Force him out wide. Make him look like a duck out of water. Their centre-halves, again, have issues, so pull them apart. Then it's down to Tierney, and then, like you can see, Greenwood's not picked up. Then it's down to our midfielders who don't see runners to pick him up. If we don't pick him up, he's in on goal. Obviously, football is not that simple, people. But you can see where these problems will arise or could potentially arise. From a United perspective, if it was me, I'm going with De Gea picks himself in goal. I'm going with the right back in Wan-Bissaka. I don't know for sure's fitness, so I guess it'll be Young. And then you've got Maguire and probably Lindelof. In midfield, I'm going with Paul Pogba, I'm going with McTominay, and I'm going with, obviously, Lingard. I've said James and Martial, and I've gone up front with Greenwood. The pivot is crucial, people. It is crucial. We've got Xhaka, obviously. Xhaka's not the most mobile, but he'll probably play. We've got to win this midfield battle. Reality is McTominay is likely to be here, Pogba's here, and Lingard will float in. Similar to Arsenal, how it looks like three players are doing their thing, their own thing. We've got to isolate Pogba. Pogba can cut open our team in one pass, whether he's in good form or not. If we discourage him from that, McTominay is decent, but that's not his skill set. Lingard dropping deep. If Lingard drops deep, young Greenwood isn't going to get onto the ball. Then it's just down to us to be smart tactically. I want us to play fast. I want us to have shots. Now, De Gea is a quality keeper, but arguably the last couple of seasons, people, if you look at it, he has conceded some questionable goals. Goals you think he could have got there. Goals from long range like against Xhaka. If you don't shoot, you do not score. We need to shoot just as a team and to try and win this game. And we need to just shoot damn right in general, people. We just need to have an effort and have goals and whatnot. And ask United questions. United's defence is shaky. Us as a team, we're allowing more shots on target on our goal than ever. For me, we've just got to look to be brave, man. We've really got to be brave on the ball. We've got to look to get at them. It's a massive pitch. I want to see our wingers kind of hugging the touchline, but also getting back. I want to see our midfielders. Our midfielders need to be aware of these runs. It's down to the fullback and the winger to do this, but at times our midfielders can look over their shoulders. They've got to be aware. They've got to be aware. They've also got to help press as well, people, and discourage United from playing, people. Because it's going to come down to nerve. In a game like this, it simply comes down to nerves for me, people. What else have I got? I'm making sure I don't miss out anything before we get on to Arsenal. So we've spoken about that. Yeah, people, as well. And from an Arsenal perspective, let's just stay with Arsenal now. From an Arsenal perspective, people, there are areas I would like to target from Man United. First, to exaggerate, I want to move our defence back a bit. I feel put crosses in. Now, like I just said, United are the focal point. Aubameyang's strengths are not in the air. We don't necessarily play with someone that necessarily has presence in the air like that. But I feel there's question marks to be asked of United if you put crosses in. And this is where Tierney comes in, early crosses as well. Because they get back and hold their line well. But how many times over the last few weeks have you seen Maguire? He's playing with blinkers. He doesn't necessarily deal with the cross. Wan-Bissaka deals with it. But it's a bit like 6s and 7s. Centre-halves are at left-back. Left-backs are playing centre-half. Right-back is over here. So they're in line, but it's a bit of a calamity, people. So ask questions of that defence. They're nervous. They can see the cheap goals like us. Ask questions, people. Ask questions. Ask questions. I want us to be positive. I want us to be on the front foot. I also want us to, like I said with them, I think there's space in behind their fullbacks. I think Wan-Bissaka is going to be a good battle for whoever's playing out there. He's a good defender. I feel not even a criticism, one potential weakness. He loves to slide tackle, but there's going to be a time he gets it wrong. And I do think at a push, I want to say he struggles, but he finds it harder if you come inside when he has to tackle people. Out wide, he'll deal with that. He's got the strength, he's got the pace. It'll be a good battle for young Saka. But this is a potential area. If he comes inside, sometimes he looks shaky. Can we exploit that, or can we win a foul or something like that of sorts, people? So that's potential areas. The midfield battle, like I said, is key. It comes down to who technically wants it the most, who covers the most ground, and who is the most tenacious. Because they've got McTominay, Pogba, and whoever they're going to go with, people. Lingard, sorry, again, it looks like a flat midfield three. From an Arsenal perspective, I'd put Torreira in the hole. Guendouzi would play, and it's a toss-up probably between Ceballos and Joe Willock to kind of do up the 10 and help press with the strikers. But it's likely to be Xhaka. So we'll see how that goes. My team would probably be something along the lines of, I will go with in goal, Leno picks himself. I would go with Holding, but it's going to be Socrates and Luiz. I would go with, personally, my team, Leno, left back Kieran Tierney. He can be substituted if he's not fully fit. But I'll go with Tierney, Leno, centre halves if it's up to me, people. Rob Holding and David Luiz. Right back, again, Bellerin. I want to play Bellerin, but I'm not sure of his fitness, so I'm going to go with Callum Chambers. Midfield for me, it's a toss-up between Joe Willock and Dani Ceballos. I'll probably give the nod to Ceballos in terms of the magnitude of the game. No disrespect to Willock because he held up against Liverpool. But Ceballos, Torreira and Guendouzi, people, for me anyways. It'll be Xhaka, but it'll be Guendouzi. I think we need dynamism. I think Guendouzi's been brave. I think Torreira snaps at the heels. Ceballos, it's a big game. This is what we got you on loan from Madrid for, and your ability to break the lines. We've got to be able to break the lines. Young is quite narrow, people, as a left back as well, if we just bring back their defence. I want to see our right winger having a goal. I want to see early crosses. Now, he's very smart in terms of gamesmanship and stuff, so it's something to watch out for. But that's the sort of thing I want to see, people. I want us to see. I want us to be positive up front, or the front options they pick themselves in. Pepe's gonna have it for me. I would obviously go with Aubameyang, and I'd give it to Nelson or Saka as a toss-up, but it'll probably be Saka. Admittedly, people, there is. Let me remove this. Remove United players. Admittedly, I wouldn't play a diamond because I think tactically we're not there yet. I feel United's too big of a pitch to expect us to go over there over 90 minutes and kind of hold it up, sort of thing, people. Do you get it? Kind of hold it up. But I must admit, because of how I've said United have played, I can see him going with a diamond, or I can get the logic behind the diamond, people. United are having issues breaking down teams like you'll see in all competitions. So could we potentially go there, suck up pressure? Because United, obviously it's deep for the man in possession at Manchester United these days. Back in the days at Man United, yeah, you knew as a striker you loved it at Man United. You're scoring 20 league goals just on the team you're playing with, people. But now they're averaging less than a goal a game. I'd play young Greenwood. Rashford's got a bit of stick, and Martial can play up front, but again, we know, is he a winger, is he a striker, has he developed into one yet, and that sort of thing, people. There is a case. They're difficult. They're tough to break. We're tough. We could try and be tough to break down. They have an issue breaking down sides. Do we go there in our own half, remain compact, sort of thing? What am I doing here? Yeah. Remain compact, let their fullbacks come up, and realistically they'll be playing a high line like that of sorts if they were. Do we come soak up their pressure, frustrate? Because it's only going to really be Pogba trying to unlock the locks, really. Do we come there and try and frustrate and take it from there? In theory, it sounds good. In reality, Arsenal not good enough tactically and mentally to do that. On the other hand, on top of that, it's a massive pitch at United. If you go there for 90 minutes and try and do that, you're going to get tired. Gaps are going to start opening in your own game plan, and their fans are going to get behind them. The key is bravery. You need to have a goal. It doesn't matter if you're Wolves. Obviously, United will up their game against Arsenal, then against Wolves or whatever. But it doesn't matter if it's Wolves, Rochdale, that team in the Europa League, Southampton away. Apart from the Chelsea game, teams have gone there with some sort of, or played United with some sort of application and effort and given them things to worry about. So these are the things we've got to draw inspiration from, for me personally, people. Well, I think I'm waffling now, and I've did enough waffle, people, and I appreciate that you stuck with me for such in my podcast and whatnot in my preview. Check out the podcast, the link is in the description. But in regards to Arsenal versus United, the preview, I've got nothing more to add, so I'm going to keep it moving. People, stay safe. Deluded.